Wes, min friend, and welcome to yet another video. My dear friends, this is a reaction to a comment from somebody who posted it yesterday, and even though I don't usually address these kind of comments, stupid, dumb, unintelligent, and unlearned comments, this one has made me think, and I would like to address it because it is very much connected with what I'm doing here over at YouTube. But first, welcome, my dear friends, for those of you who are here for the first time, to European Lore, a channel of a humble European fella who likes to rant about fantasy on the internet, a man who has devoted his entire personal and academic life to the finer things, the greats of the fantasy genre of the 20th century, as well as old English literature and language, and that is why my channel is from a huge part devoted to defending these great stories, beloved stories, against such vile creatures as those people over at Prime Video or Netflix or Disney Plus. And it is precisely why I've decided to address this comment. It said that, and it was responding to one of my videos. Usually I talk about how much the modern entertainment industry is trying to mar and destroy our beloved stories, or as they like to call it, franchises or IPs. And that commenter said something like, stories are for children. Grow up. Now, this is so wrong. It is staggering. Now, most of my followers, the vast majority of you, my dear friends, know that it's stupid. And a lot of you, I believe, have read the essay written by Professor Tolkien called On Fairy Stories. Now, I should like to provide you with my own take on stories, but of course I have been vastly influenced by this particular essay, having read it multiple times, dozens and dozens of times, especially back at university when I was using it for, well, my essays and my theses and my papers and so on and so forth. But what are stories, and why do we tell stories, and why is it that stories are maybe even more important for adults than for kids? Well, for multiple reasons, of course. And for everybody, stories are different for different reasons. They, well, used to be, and they still are, an important source of information, a way to pass knowledge and history, wisdom, and important life lessons, knowledge about the world and about existence to the next generations, or experiences of the former generations. We can learn from stories, we can learn from history. So not only is it an important source of information and learning, but also wisdom. And even if you look at old stories like Beowulf or Gilgamesh and so on and so forth, we can learn a lot of life lessons and wisdom. We can really learn from those stories. If you read the Icelandic Eddas, as well as any other religious book, which is the same thing really, a collection of mythological stories. In this way, the Icelandic Edda is the same as the Bible or the Quran. It's just a collection of myths and legends. Ideally, that should teach people how to live and how to be decent humans, just wrapped in nice words, nice stories. But then, if you look even deeper into that, what stories are, or if you look at them from a very much different point of view, if you don't really want to make everything about information, about learning, it's just the perfect way to escape. Escapism. Tolkien was talking about escapism all the time. He was making the distinction between a prisoner and a deserter. Just read the essay. I absolutely recommend it. We live in a grim and dark reality of the primary world, that being the real world. And the secondary world, as coined by Tolkien, is the fictitious world, any fictitious world that any person makes up, like Middle-earth or Arda, like Narnia, like the galaxy far, far away from Star Wars, like Terry Pratchett's Discworld, or anything. And our reality does not necessarily have to be grim and dark, but maybe just dull and boring. Everyday, routine. We really want to get away to another world, which doesn't necessarily need to be better or brighter, more positive, but it is very much different from our reality. We can lose ourselves there for hours and hours and hours. That is why I read stories, that is why I enjoy stories, whether it be books, comics, films, and TV shows, and I also like to make up stories, create stories. Because the act of creation is maybe the closest you can get to what some people call God, some people call God, some people call universe. The simple act of creation. Females, for example, are comparing birth to this because it is also creation. They are giving birth to a new life. Well, I'm a man, I can't do that. I can only help the female with it, if you know what I mean. But I can create stories, I can make up worlds, I can give life to my own fictitious people. That is something that can't be compared to anything else. And it is all very much, but you know, this is like obvious. Everybody knows that, or every single sane person knows this. This is obvious. This is hello, Captain Obvious. Like, no shit, Sherlock. Apparently not everybody, when we think about the comment. But it is also very much connected with what I'm doing over here, and why I have been criticizing, for example, The Rings of Power for the longest time. Because The Lord of the Rings, as written by Professor Tolkien, is a story that appeals to everybody. It's very rare that everybody is able to, or has been always able to fall in love with The Lord of the Rings and enjoy it, lose themselves in the story. Everybody likes it for very much different reasons. Obviously, first and foremost, it's a very well-written book. It's a quality product. That's like the most important. It's one of the best fantasy stories ever written by a human. But then, of course, secondly, certain people might appreciate the Christian influence on Professor Tolkien's books because he was a devoted Catholic. Some people might enjoy his inspiration by old myths and legends, old European myths and legends. Some people might simply enjoy the fictitious history that he tried to create for Britain or for England, his own country. Some people might enjoy the beautiful descriptions of those of the world he created. Some people enjoy the fight between good and evil. A gorgeous, beautiful, simple, romantic way of storytelling. It's a heroic tale about a journey and about the fight between the good people of Middle-earth versus the Dark Lord. There is no need to change it. There is no need to change it for the modern audience. Because the modern audience is really the same as the former audience, whatever that is. We all love The Lord of the Rings. People have been enjoying The Lord of the Rings for more than 60 years now. More than 70 years, gee. If my math is correct. So, there you go. That is why I will always be against prequels and sequels and spin-offs and rip-offs and remakes. Because why change something that is perfect? Well, then go ahead and create something new for the next generations. Engage in the act of creation, which is close to God. Whereas destruction is as far away from these things as possible. All right. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and that will be all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.